Welcome back to Dry Arabia for another Conqueror level casted game. On the south side in the pink, we have Lycosa as the Byzantines because it's Lycosa, not Lycosa. And on the north side in the blue, we have Dutch Vanderland as the Rus, also known as Yonko Saws. So now we do have some Dark Age shenanigans going on. If you're eagle-eye watching the mini-map as we follow the scouts around, you'll see that we've got Yonko going for the classic double hunting cabin open. He's even split the hunting cabins onto his two woodlines to maximize that gold income. And we can also see that Lick, which is the nickname we're going to be going with today, is already on stone. So we've got two villagers on the stone, which I think is the new classic for the Byzantines. So the first cistern is going down just outside the TC, which does cover the stone and the berries and the sheep and a little bit of wood as well. So that's a pretty decent cistern. And I think so this is going to be the classic plan that Byzantines are going for at the moment. Now that the cisterns are 125 stone, slowly adding those in over the game to try and get to level 5 pretty quickly because of all of the bonuses you get to gathering and production. So I think this is a really good thing. Now we can already see that Yonko is Rus. There's more scouts popping out, so as we're watching this, you're going to be following Scout Prime. The first one, we're not following the sidekicks, but they are going around and they are getting lots on the map. So we can see at the moment the sheep count is we've got Lick has got 7 and the first scout has already got 4, but the others are already picking up more on the backside and they're going to be getting that whole western edge of the map. So I think that Yonko is probably going to come out on top of this, which is kind of what you expect playing against the Rus. But the sheep that Lick does have, those are going to do really nicely to help him get up to the feudal age and decide what he's planning on doing. Now, what landmark are we expecting? What are we thinking we're going to have? It's a slightly slower age up for both players because of the stone and the hunting cabins and stuff. So I'm imagining that for the Byzantines, we're going to see the winery. It looks like it would fit perfectly in here. And it might even be that you could get double groves in between it, between the TC and that, which would be very, very juicy just there. I'd be very surprised if we see Hippodrome. But, you know, you never know what these guys are cooking. We can see the second cistern also already going down. Now, this position I really like, because you want to spread them out and you want to keep these straight as possible. So doing it this way is going to be maximizing that thing. And also it doesn't quite get these berries, maybe even actually one step further away could have also meant that these got buffed up by those villagers. But you do have to be careful. It's quite valuable, so you don't want to be losing those at this stage. And it does then open up for further cisterns over here on the wood over here, and there may be some back here, we'll see. But winery has gone up, so only one grove space there. So this berry bush here is just knocking it out. So this is actually probably a better choice, keeping it slightly safer. It's not obviously as close to these, but then you're not losing any future grove spots around it later for that extra oil income, which is super important. If we take a look over, we do have the Golden Gate. Kremlin has fallen massively out of fashion. I'm a big fan of the Gremlins. I kind of hope that the devs decide to give them a little bit of love, decide to, you know, give them something a bit spicy so that people pick them again. But this landmark is really good. Those tickets to trade them in do mean you can get super fast pro scouts, you can buy TCs, you can do all kinds of crazy stuff. And when I played a little bit of Rus on my random adventure last season, I had to say they were very, very fun. I think they're very flexible. And you guys all know I love the Byzantines as well. So this matchup, I'm really interested to see how they both play it, because if we think about Rus, we look at Yonko's base while we're doing it. They like horse archers. Let's be honest. Everyone loves a horse archer unless you're against them. And they're really strong. But the Byzantines do get the potential for the perfect counter to that because of the mercenaries, and that's really, really important. So here we go, Yonko distracting there with the scout, trying to annoy, trying to frustrate with the little attack notifications. And this actually does tax people's APM. It's if you're out of range and you can do this and it just starts pinging that off, if somebody starts panicking, they misclick a villager, it's all good value for you. So we can see another cistern over here. So I think maybe the plan here from Lick is just to maximize the cistern influence, not necessarily worrying about the perfect placement, because this isn't covering any new resources. Whether this is going to be the production hub, nice and safe at the back, we'll have to wait and see what they're planning, but we do have production on this one. And so far, all of them are just on the Conscriptio, but I imagine that we're going to be seeing one of these slipped over to Dialecticus to get those techs as well. But we are both in the feudal age, and if we take a little goosey gander over, we can see in one of these juicy hunting cabins, we do have pro scouts. We've already got 4 scouts on the field, and there's enough scouts there actually torching down the mining camp. So this is actually quite clever. Yonko now is forcing him either to sacrifice the gold and lose this, or he's now sacrificing wood, rebuilding it, and all at the same time pro scouts is still coming in. And then where's he going to get the deer from? I think it's going to be here. So yeah, obviously the spear coming out, the Limitine super spears, but again, the system placements are quite interesting. I'm not sure. Maybe I'd be going out here so aggressively, and also if you're going to do that to get the extra resources, you'd maybe move it a couple of tiles up this way, and then you'd also get both deer packs. But maybe he's expecting them to get stolen. But Yonko being very careful not to lose his scouts here. This is really important when you're doing the pro scouts as Roos. You don't want to be losing them because, you know, they cost resources, and you know, they could be bringing back these juicy venison carcasses ready to give you all of that bounty. And look at this UI, guys. I know we've had it for a little while, but I'm just going to say it again. This is beautiful. I love it. It's so good. And what did we go for? We missed the mercenaries. Let's check it out. Javelins, exactly. So as I was saying, and I got distracted by scouts burning, this is the counter to horse archers. So in the feudal age, you've got javelins. So if you're behind in the castle age race, you don't quite get there in time, you've got these which basically destroy horse archers because they are the anti-ranged unit, which is amazing. And then in the castle age you get camel riders, which are the anti-cavalry one. So basically knights and horse archers, which is Roos's bread and butter, once they've got the deer to go with their bread and butter, that's what they go for. So you do have to be a little bit careful. And here we go. See, Yonko not going blind. He is going and getting his archers. This is really nice from him. I see a lot of people basically just accepting the scouts go down and not making military, and this does kind of give me the impression he's going to be thinking horse archers, because you don't want to drop an archery range if you're planning on just going pure knights, because it's a lot of resources. You'd rather do something different. So this does kind of tell me maybe we're thinking of looking into horse archers, which it makes sense. And but we can see that Lick is already trying to play a bit defensive. He's prepared for the castle onslaught that's clearly going to be coming his way, and we can see a big wall coming down. This is a juicy wall. With that many scouts to torch it down, I'm not sure that this such a big wall is going to work, and it does secure up a couple of resources. You've got, you know, this stone, a couple of little gold here, but there's not a huge amount of resources on the back here actually. So the base is still open and all the food is here. This is what I'd want to be protecting. So obviously Lick has got something in mind. He's going to be focusing on trying to stop these scouts stealing his deer, and this is where maybe if this wall was on this side instead, so instead of this big one here, just around here, this would actually protect up both of these deer packs and the berries. And getting these berries for the mercenaries is massive. So we do already have one group of javelins out. We want to make sure we don't lose those. So he's going to have to be really careful that these guys don't get caught out by a rogue knight or something like that. But he does actually have enough for more. But whether he's going to try and keep it for the castle age now, nope. As I say, he's going to be going for the javelins. So there we go. But we can see Yonko's almost cleaned up this one, and he's cleaned up his front deer pack, 2 deer packs under the TC, and the high trade house coming in. So this position I like. Yonko, very, very nice, sir. This is something that I think a lot of people not do wrong, but they misunderstand or they think differently than I would about this. So yes, you get more gold if you position it somewhere with a crazy wood line. So, for example, probably here, you would get more gold from the general income. But the deer that spawn around it with how the bounty works, that's what you want to be focusing on. So here, this basically means that most of the deer will be under the TC, which means it's safe, which means that you get more bounty, you've got more safe food, and that's then what allows you to really pump and go crazy in the Castle Age. But talking of Castle Ages, we do have Lick's big horn going up on the backside. The big pink horn coming up, ready to poke the sky. And we got the Castle Age in for Yonko. So Men-at-Arms immediately in queue. He knows he's against the Byzantines. That's what he's doing. So, oh, Lick, this is an aggressive wall. I think, Oh, it's just inside the gold vein, actually. If that was just a little bit further out, he'd also have access to this. So that actually is going to maybe be a problem a little bit later on. But right now, the rush is getting this up, getting the wall up to secure up this. And Yonko's going to nick the deer from under his eyes as we go. So veteran upgrade coming in. This is immediately what you want to be doing as the Byzantines. I like this. Do we have a monk in queue? We do. We've got the horse archers and we do have the warrior monks. So obviously we don't have the landmark that can produce them, but we've already got the monastery down. So it's going to be the race for the relics, and Yonko's going to have the mobility. The horse archers at the moment, as long as this horse archer doesn't reach the javelins, which obviously are out on the field, one javelin trying to keep an eye on these relics, then he's going to be okay. But really, I think Lick really wants these relics, because if they go in the winery, the amount of oil you get for putting them in there is crazy. And I think the mercenaries in this case are going to make a really big difference. So this is going to be the thing. But at the moment, I think Yonko's seen him. Let's follow him as he runs in. We've got some more men-at-arms coming in. Yeah, he's trying to protect the monk there. Men-at-arms going to be tanking, but he's got to be careful. He doesn't have anything that can beat these javs at this stage. We do see some horsemen coming in, so he's planning on countering them. That no knights, going to be spending the gold elsewhere on the men-at-arms, but these tanky boys will deal with the javelins very effectively. So Lick is going to have to think about a counter for these, which usually start with cross and end in bo-bo-bo-bo. But we'll see how he decides to go for it, because he does also have cataphracts, which deal with these pretty handily as well. But with a little bit of micro, these javelins can do it. But oh, this is a bad fight for Lick. Really nicely done from Yonko. That tanky front line, I think he's underestimating how much they do. So javelins have got really high base damage, but against castle men at arms, it's really not the way you want to be going. So far, one relic apiece, a horse archer coming in, and that javelin mass is going down. The gate, they are going to be getting through there, securing at, and it looks like the walls have finally gone up. The whole of the base is gone up, defended and secure. So it looks like Yonko is playing the no wall challenge at the moment as Roos. He's just doing all of this. We do see the wooden fortress just outside of range there, so we will see that refreshed ever so shortly, I'm sure. But this is the problem with these big walls now, that it does mean that Lick has got a big area to defend. If this gets burnt down, then all of this eco is kind of undefended. But he's also got the pressure on the side as well from some of those men-at-arms. We've also got a random villager here that's just chilling on the outside. So it looks like... Oh, now I really hope... So this is kind of something that I'd be a bit worried about. So I know this is only tiny, but let's look. It's here just outside the gate. If your villagers are gathering here, they might consider that as part of this pack, and as soon as they finish this, they're all going to run outside the gate into Roost Knights. I'm going to call it now. That potentially could happen. But Yonko also keeping an eye on the boar. This is nice. A little bit of pre-food denial. I like to see it. But over on this side... Yeah, there we go. So we've got to keep those horse archers out. The warrior monk is trying to get into the base to steal that relic. I think that's a little bit greedy there. But now this is going to be a bit of a micro off. If we watch this, the horsemen really want to get on top of the javelins. It looks like Yonko does have enough of a front line to do this. A couple of guys just observing over in the back here, but it's these Limitane that he's got to be worried about. If he can clear those out, then they're basically done for, and the javelins are going to do it. So the horse archers have targeted the villager, making sure that wall doesn't go up. And here we go, some camels there to debuff, which I imagine have come from the horn as free units. But look how quickly they deal with those horses. But Lick is trying to micro around these units, but the men-at-arms and the horsemen are really cleaning those up really handily, and the crossbows are going down as well. So it looks like Lick is feeding the units in, trying to keep the reinforcements going, but I think feeding them in these small numbers is only going to hurt his military count, and the wall isn't up, so he's going to have to go back and defend. It looks like that's a really nice fight from Yonko. The numbers looking still pretty decent for Lick. He does have the production speed bonus because he is Byzantines. And if we take a little goosey gander, he's on level 5 cistern. That's what I was looking at over here, which does mean that his production is 100% faster. So all of his units will produce super quickly. So it does mean that Yonko's going to have to be careful to make sure that he's adding production in so that he can maintain that. But look at this bounty already, 900, almost the top 1,000 with the 1,500. We don't see any hunting cabins dotted around the map just yet, but we do have units keeping an eye on gold. So this is just this little denial here that we can see. There we go. So I like this. And all of the sacred sites have gone up for Yonko as well. So now this is a bit of a ticking time bomb. Lick has turtled up. He's got the walls. I think this wall's going to finish up. But now he's got to make sure that he doesn't get trapped in his base by the flood of blue that's working its way over. Very heavily in the cavalry. So I think we're still going to be seeing a lot of Limiternae from him. But I think we are going to need to see some defenses inside the base, not just these walls, because those horsemen are going to torch that down pretty sharpish. Trying to get a fight on the side, making sure these desert raiders the camel riders don't get caught out by the horse archers, because they don't have a lot of ranged armor, which means they will get slapped around a little bit. And the horse archers, I think these are really good. The micro that you need to do the damage, I think, is really important here. So they don't just fire like Mangudai. You do actually have to manually do it. So let's follow the camel riders in chase. Whether Lick is going to try and decap the site. So here, look at this little micro. Oh, just missing the animation there. There we go. Nice little shot off. So these guys have got to stay alive because they're really going to be reducing the overall damage. But crossbows are going to deal with these pretty handily, I think. But they do have the mobility. They are going to run away. So choosing the right fight here is definitely important for both players. Sacred Site going to be decapped, almost 9 minutes on the clock, not going to be quite going up just yet, but it looks like Yonko is pulling back, ready to defend, ready for a big fight, because as the Byzantines, he's already seen the numbers have started to increase. We've got a big army here, reinforcements coming in, and eco-wise, we're pretty similar at this stage. Obviously, there's a lot more gold on the Rus side, but it's Rus with relics, you know, what are we going to do? And on the backside, we've also bought a TC. So we haven't mined any. You can see here that it's surrounded by all the crazy amount of production. So using those tickets wisely from the Golden Gate, just to make sure that he's not out ecoed by the cisterns, which I think is very important in this matchup, because it's not to be sniffed at when you get an extra 26% under this. It's like mini Archons under your whole economy. So yeah, and as anyone who's played against HRE knows, the Archons are pretty strong. We can see that we're out on the deer over here as well, so climbing that bounty up really nicely. And we've also got the Boyar's Fortitude just about to come in, which means all of this cavalry is going to be getting a nice little buff. A few villagers going down there trying to get out on the food, and it looks like Lick knows that he's going to be running out of food at this stage, but that's a big fight for Yonko. All of those units going down, not even worried about the spears, and even before Boyar's comes in, now all of these guys have got even more health, so they are getting debuffed by the camel riders, but there's just not enough of them. These numbers now, that's what you want to be scared of. Even these men-at-arms, one little micro shot from the horse archers and I think that guy is going to be gone. So it looks like he's so this, I think, is the important thing. Lick is feeding them in. Look, a couple of units at a time, going to be slowly whittled down. I think he's got to be careful to keep them together because the numbers are so similar at this stage. But we need a lot more spears on the field, I think, and a lot more ranged units. There are no knights, so I think going for crossbows here is actually maybe hurting Lick a little bit more than he thinks, because he's using all that gold instead of maybe having like something tankier, like going for even cataphracts just to sort of tank here, because archers would actually do the job much better for these, and crossbows don't do anything against these either. So I think maybe using all that gold and not having maybe all of the military techs, that would make actually quite a big difference here. But this is really important because he's full cav. He's got to be really careful now. Yonko can't take some bad fights. He does need to heal up. He's massing back up at the base, which I think is a good move. But this is where now the map control is on Lick's side, so he's got to try and take advantage of this now. If he's going to be moving out, maybe he's going to try and go for the boar, maybe he's going to try and secure up sacred sites. I think making sure that he's using this is going to be really important, because with the cavalry they can very quickly cross the map and start causing problems in the Byzantine base. But Limiternae, they're showing their strength, stopping those horsemen in their tracks, trying to get us around, but there's taking a lot of damage on the way. If we take a little look, villagers running out to that food, I think it looks like Yonko is maybe struggling there. He's going to be thinking about his farm transition soon, but he's just trying to get rid of those javelins and still getting a few horsemen spiked along the way, and the horse archer numbers are continuing to increase, reinforcements coming on the back side. So it looks like Yonko is fully committing to this horse archer play, and now the mobility is catching these units. And again, the numbers aren't that different, but taking a big fight here with all of your military versus the little bit, this is really nice from Yonko. And unfortunately, Lick is taking a licking there. We can also see there's some farms coming up on the backside, so it does look like Yonko's working slowly on his farm transition. But look, yeah, he wants to get out on the map. He's trying to tower it up, but one villager's going to take forever to do that, and that is just going to be a little bit slow now that he's lost map control again. So if this was up a couple of minutes ago while he was pressuring outside the base, then he could have started securing this. But I think maybe the tower, it's going to go up, but the villager's not going to like it. He's going to be slapped. And is he? Yeah, he's going to get hit by the men-at-arms. So mango emplacement coming in, which should do a lot of damage. But again, now these numbers definitely doesn't want to fight here outside the base. He's got to try and do that. Hopefully there's not going to be a chop through, because that's going to be devastating. If Yonko can get vision, all of these villagers are going to get hit. I'd be really worried about those. And oh no, they're going to run straight into it. Oh no, Lick, no. Oh, the villagers. And so that is a lot of damage. 12 villagers gone down now. He's just diving in. He doesn't care about the TC fire. Who cares about that when you've got more reinforcements coming on the way? The men-at-arms, the Varangian guard, slowly trudging after them, but with a little bit of micro here, it's definitely going to take those out. We can see a second TC for him as well, so both players have added in a TC later for that eco advantage. The mercenaries coming out, but those camel riders are not going to do a huge amount against this many horse archers. He's got to be really careful, and more villagers getting caught on the grove transition on the back as well. This is going to be a massive hit to his economy, and I think even with these numbers, he still doesn't have the reinforcements to take them. I think crossbows, I think this is the problem. We need some archers. We need a lot of archers and a lot of spears, and then that would be able to defend against this, especially with the walls. They can't actually get in the base, but now risky move, shifting outside onto the wood line because the horsemen are inside the base and still picking them off. 25 villagers have gone down now, even more about to get hit. This is absolutely insane damage. So this is such a valuable fight for Yonko, and I think Lick is going to be really unhappy with how that one went. His villagers are back out again, and he's still just charging around. And on the backside, the big dick move, we have the Imperial Age coming in. Where is it? Where are you hiding it? Over on the back, we have the High Armory coming in. So this gives all of the cost reduction and those special techs to siege. So we're going to see some siege workshops dropped around here. And at this point, this move now is just pure distraction. He's not doing any damage. This is nice. I like this from Yonko. It's really nice, just shifting around, keeping this military running around, not going towards his base. And then in a minute or so, he's going to see that Imperial Age come in, and that is going to be really, really upsetting. After taking all of that damage, he's on 2 TC, which is fine. We've got another one, a third TC going up here, so he does know that he is going to be economically a little bit behind, but with that bounty and with this Imperial Age coming in, it's going to be a very difficult spot. We can see he's gone out on the ball, so that's going to be good for his food income as long as those villagers don't get caught. And we can see Yonko has hit the Imperial Age, and immediately the elite horse archers coming in. So that is going to mean that these boys at home, once he has them, are going to do a huge amount of damage. We can see that they're already raiding, making sure the sacred sites don't keep ticking, because that is something he doesn't want to see. There's also the mounted training that gives them the extra range, which is really nice, and that gallop ability. Super, super strong. But the military numbers starting to even out. It looks like with the amount of units in queue, I think Lick is trying to match the Imperial Age. I think he knows he doesn't have the eco or the military at this stage to really push in and try and take the hit in castle, and so I think he's going to be looking at matching that. That's what the macro tells me. But on the backside, we can see the Roost farm transition going nicely. The food income 2k at this stage, which is very, very nice. He's not out on any of the food anymore. He's already cleaned all of these up, and so this is really nice little eco from him. We've got 3 relics in the bag. No tithe barns just yet. That is a lot of income, actually. A lot of extra resources. I think it's, what's that, 90 per relic? So for 500 resources, you get an extra 360 resources per minute. Losing a cataphract, that's really not what you want to be doing. So he was trying to get in to do some raiding. I get the idea, but unfortunately the army was in the way. So we can see here now that Lick is trying to push out. He doesn't have his Imperial yet, and unfortunately for him, these Horse Archers do. So they are going to be doing an absolutely crazy amount of damage. I think he's trying to get a bit of a surround with the Horsemen. Nope, they just run away over there. Okay, so the Pink Horsemen have decided to just run away and just avoid the Horse Archers completely. And now look at these guys. Look at this uniform. We love to see it. Mangonel emplacements are going to do crazy damage against these Horse Archers, so he definitely doesn't want to get caught by those. Yeah, so it's focusing on the horses at the moment, but if that Mango emplacement doesn't do as much as I thought, actually. Whether it's because it's the Castle Age, I think that's something to be aware of, but let's spin it back round to the proper angle and we can see how this fight is going. So these Castle Age units are not faring particularly well, and now Lick is in a really sticky situation. If he decides to go for Imperial, he's going to have no units to defend, but if he stays in Castle, all of these Castle techs are going to be coming in. We're going to be seeing University techs, and he's tried to raid on the backside, but trying to destroy the landmark instead of these villagers, that's definitely going to mean these horsemen bite the dust. And if we liked Lick's walls, Yonko said, you like a wall? Well, I'm going to build it and you're going to pay for it. And here we go. It's going all the way around, securing up a nice little gold over here. Nice little turtle wall there just to, you know, confuse things. I think this is good. Securing up, he's still got 3 gold veins, which is absolutely insane. And as Roos, you know, he doesn't need a huge amount of gold, let's be honest. In the middle, another little skirmish going on. Horse Archers on the back, very easily able to dodge those horsemen. And there are javelins, but still going into the crossbows when there's no knights. It's very confusing to see that. It's working really well in Yonko's favor because he can just keep going for these horsemen, and basically there's nothing that can counter them because the Horse Archers can clear up spears in no time. So looking at these numbers, 56, he's managed to bridge a little bit of the gap after losing 30 villagers. He's not actually 30 behind, so that's pretty good at this stage, but on the 3TC it's still going to take him a while to catch up, and unfortunately more villagers going down there. See, this is where that vision, there is a tiny chop through, so the units have managed to get in, and he's got his spears of his own, and that is going to be working wonders on those desert raiders, camel riders, whatever they're called, the camel boys, and and the horsemen. So this is where, don't feed them in. Okay, so this is going to be working really well for Yonko. The reinforcements are slowly feeding themselves in, and there we go. We've got the gallop ability coming in. They can increase their movement speed and weapons range for a few seconds. That's doing a huge amount of damage. 42 villagers total gone down at this stage, and more reinforcements flooding across the map. We can see as we say, the Horse Archers are now going to be going into the Grove transition, and a few little pot shots. I think a few more villagers will be going down, but again, pure distraction on the backside, while on the front side they're still flooding in, annoying those reinforcements and breaking them down, which is doing a huge amount of damage. We can see actually that Lick has gone out of here. I don't think that grove was intentional, guys. That's just, I don't think you ever planned to build 2 towers and a grove, but it does look beautiful. So, you know, aesthetically, Lick is winning on this one, I have to say. But the Horse Archers leading these camel riders and the horsemen on a little merry chase as he goes round. Incendiary arrows coming in. This is the power of the ranged cavalry, because in Imperial Age they get incendiary arrows for fire bows. They get silk string bows, which means they get extra range, and the Horse Archers already get that ability to increase their range again. And they get biology, so they have more health because they're all cavalry. It's literally like the ultimate Imperial unit. And look at this. This is supposed to counter them, but one of those, there we go, fire arrows making swift work of the camels and those villagers, and they can just sit there now slowly whittling down the economy. 56 villagers have gone down. This is massive eco hurting, and we can see Horseman trying to get into raid. It looks like he's trying to find some damage. He's trying to get in there, but as soon as they hit this rally, I think they're just going to run straight into the walls because it's completely closed. On the front side, Mangonel emplacement not going to be able to hit those horse archers, and more of these boys are going to be going down. And oh no, the chop throughs. So it is a nice little funnel there for Lick, but having this open, I definitely think he needs to get this base closed up pretty sharpish because it's open here. He has shifted away from this side, so it's not opened on there, but yeah, he's struggling. The TCs are idle. He is trying to rush Imperial now. He needs to be trying to get these villager numbers up. He's lost 60 in total, and even more units are going down here. They're trying to get into the base, but it's all closed off, and they're just chilling outside. There's still horse archers on the back, and actually they're going to completely clean up these crossbows as well. There's no way the crossbows are going to beat this fight, I don't think. Even with these, now he's pulling the reinforcements back. He's going to win this fight, but at what cost? He's really got to try and get his military numbers up at this stage. The economy here is absolutely massive. Almost 200 pop for Yonko and 110 for Lick with 80 versus 120. This eco difference, I think, is going to be a little bit hard to stop. The Roost flood has really started, and it really at this stage, if he loses 20 villagers, he really doesn't care. He does have, so we can see that Lick has gone for the foreign engineering company. With this amount of oil in the bag, I think that's not a bad shout, but he needs to be getting some units. French cannons, I don't know whether I'd be going Nesta Bees to try and clear up some of these guys, to try and clear up some of the horse archers and ranged, but that would just be me. But he's really starving on the gold. He's got this one out on the front, which is defended a little bit by a tower. And then he's got this one with the grove on the side, obviously. But it does look like, in terms of the golden Imperial, Yonko's living his best life. He still hasn't even finished this 4K. He's got another one over here, and he's got this one over here, and he's still on 1.2K. This is just Bruce living their absolute best life. So 36 Horch Archers, and the Lick has less than 36 units. So I think this is looking pretty scary. And it does look like, you know, Yonko is pulling back a bit, making sure that he's going to take, I think, one big fight to end all fights. We've got a couple of rams coming in, and these guys are really nice. They've got the reduced melee damage as well. If we take a little look over at the technologies, we do have these ones. Let's whoop, there we go. We can see he does have these. He doesn't have the tech for them because I guess with 2 rams it's probably not worth it, but we can produce more siege from here at a reduced rate, so we can see 160 there. But biology coming in, and he's going to be taking a fight pre-biology. Whether it's the French cannon, I don't know how much damage it's going to do, but I don't think it's going to survive long enough to make a huge amount. The raining of fire from the horse archers there is just shredding this stuff, and yeah, this fight is not going very well for Lick. The numbers not quite doing it, and the crossbows just, they don't have the attack speed to really do enough damage. And once you've got this horse archer mass, you need something a little bit more powerful, a little bit more punch, potentially even some mangonels. But at this stage with the Imperial horse archers, they're really tricky to beat. A couple of villagers going out, not quite doing the damage that I think Lick was expecting there, and 13 military against 70. Eco-wise, he's starting to catch up a little bit. Obviously, Yonko is max pop, so he's not going to be making any more villagers, but these javelins rallied out, and they are just going to be cleaned up very quickly. So the French cannons, the Royal cannons, are going to be doing it, but look how much damage they take quickly. A little bit of extra range, and that French cannon is going to be going down as well. So now he's got to try and defend this gold, but it's all about the military numbers at this stage, and I think he's going for hand cannons, very expensive units, and he doesn't want to be chasing. I think this is something that Yonko is doing really nicely here. He's pulling back when he wants to, healing up, and just taking the big fights, whereas like feeding these units in, when you've only got 28, you don't want to leave an exposed knob around. It's yeah, that kind of worries me, because like here, he's trying to take out these rams. That's another... Oh, I was going to say that's another 10 units. That's also villagers. So more villagers going to be going down, burning down the ram. Definitely not sure that's worth it. Even just for the cost of that ram, killing that many units is actually well worth it. We do even have chemistry coming in as well. So that's going to make these bombards even more powerful. But all of these units, we've got, what's that? 18 villagers over here. 10% of the economy is now trapped in these towers, and it looks like it's trying to force a fight, but I still think these horse archer numbers are a little bit too scary for this thing. And look, the nest of bees going down very, very quickly. This is not going well for Lick. Using Gallop again really nicely there from Yonko, getting that extra range and speed. But these units, if he can get on top of them, he can do a lot of damage here. But at this stage, I think Yonko can just afford to sacrifice the units he's got and send the reinforcements in. So we can see even more horse archers on the back, and we've got a bombard coming in to break down this tower. He's still trying to get the gold on that side so the Lick can build reinforcements, but I think he's going to have to pull these villagers away if he doesn't want to sacrifice all of that economy. And the Blue Flood is really doing some work. The bombard towers are cleaning up some of these villagers. I'm not sure this keep is actually going to go up. Between the bombards in the castle and the mangonel emplacement, there's only a couple more villagers there, but they are going to be quickly going down. Yonko's pulled some more, but the reinforcements have gone, and these garrison villagers, they're going to find a home for a minute, but I don't think it's going to be for a long time. So now the eco numbers are looking similar, but if we look at the income, there is a big difference here. And the military now, we got a couple of grenadiers. I'm not sure that's going to that's going to do it. And more villagers getting cooked here. 80 villagers gone down now at this stage, and there's more running rampant around here, trying to avoid getting hit inside the base because all of the wood has been cleaned up. But trying to take another fight with small units, and this I think is going to be the thing that puts the final nail in the coffin, is getting these units and just slowly feeding them into the horse archers. Is just, the Rain of Fire loves this kind of thing because they can just target one unit and then they all drop and form these nice little piles around the sacred sites. We've only got 2 sacred sites, but Lick calls it. Really nice work there from Yonko, the horse archers saving the day. And Yonko is part of the FKG, so make sure you check out the link in the description, go and say hi and check out the guys there as well. And I'll see you next time for more casted action.